My child, He chose you, and somewhere inside you already feel that truth tugging at your heart like a gentle whisper that refuses to leave. Yet the question haunts your spirit: if He truly chose you, why is she still in His life? Why does God allow the confusion, the delay, the mixed signals, the painful uncertainty? Why would God give you a feeling so strong, so unshakable, so spiritually rooted, only to let another person linger in the picture? You're trying to understand what God is doing because nothing about this season has been simple. And yet deep inside, there is this pull from heaven, this sense that God has seen what you've prayed, what you've cried, what you've carried, and He is moving in ways that you cannot yet see. God wants you to hear this clearly: the presence of another woman does not mean you were not chosen. It does not mean your intuition is wrong. It does not mean your worth is less, your value is compromised, or your place in His life is uncertain. Sometimes God allows delays, distractions, and detours not to weaken the story but to strengthen the foundation. Sometimes God lets certain people remain in someone's life only long enough to reveal the truth about their intentions, their loyalty, their maturity, their alignment, and whether they are truly ready to love in the way He intends. God is not protecting the other woman. He is protecting you. You have been asking heaven the same silent question over and over: why do I have to witness this? Why does my heart have to feel this tug-of-war between what I sense spiritually and what I see physically? Why does it feel like God confirmed something but life contradicts it? God says this: I do not give confusion. I do not whisper promises I will not fulfill. I do not give a connection just to rip it away. What I am doing is bigger than your emotions and deeper than your understanding. You are not watching Him choose her. You are watching God separate soul ties, cycles, habits, and attachments that were never meant to survive the next chapter of His life. God chose you not because you are perfect, but because your heart carries a purity, a depth, a compassion, a spiritual alignment that His life requires for where He is going next. She might be in His life now, but she is not part of the destiny God has written for him. You are not witnessing romance, you are witnessing a chapter that is closing, even if it looks open to the natural eye. God sees how tired you are of waiting, how painful it is to hold faith when everything appears contradictory, how tempting it is to let doubt swallow your hope. But God is telling you, stand still. You will not have to fight for a place that is already yours. You will not have to prove yourself. You will not have to battle another woman for a man who has already been assigned to your spirit. There are moments when God lets someone stay in a person's life only long enough to expose the places in their heart that still need healing. Sometimes God lets them see what counterfeit love looks like so they can recognize real love when it stands in front of them. Sometimes God allows them to experience disappointment so they can grow into the kind of man who loves with intention instead of impulse. The presence of another woman is not a threat. It is a revelation. It is showing you what God is pulling him away from, not what He is pushing him toward. It is evidence that God is rearranging His life from the inside out. You may be wondering why you feel such a strong spiritual connection to someone who seems distracted, unavailable, or divided. But God often plants a sense of destiny before He reveals the full picture. You sense the connection because your souls have already crossed paths in ways your minds have not yet understood. He feels you in ways He hasn't explained. He notices things about you that He keeps to Himself because He is still figuring out His own heart. He is drawn to you in a way He can't rationalize. He knows you carry something rare, something peaceful, something grounding. He has moments where He imagines a future with you even if He has not voiced it. He senses the safety in your spirit, the softness in your presence, and the truth in your energy. He knows there is something about you that feels like God's timing instead of human desire. And that difference scares Him because He has never experienced it before. God is working on him. Not to choose you out of emotion, but out of clarity. Out of maturity. Out of courage. Out of divine alignment. God is removing distractions, disconnecting soul ties, exposing motives, and rewriting His understanding of what love is supposed to be. God is preparing him to value you, respect you, honor you, and protect the connection the way you deserve. Because you are not meant to be loved halfway. You are not meant to be compared. You are not meant to be a second option, a what if, or an emotional backup. You are meant to be loved with confidence, with certainty, with intention. There will come a moment when he looks at her and realizes she is part of who he used to be, not who he is becoming. When he looks at you and feels a sense of peace that doesn't fade, a clarity that doesn't confuse him, a pull that doesn't leave him questioning. He will realize that love is not supposed to feel like chaos. It is supposed to feel like direction. He will see that you are not just someone who entered his life, you are someone who awakened something inside him that had been asleep for a long time. He will feel God guiding him toward you in quiet ways, through thoughts he didn't expect, dreams he can't explain, and emotions he can't shake. God is telling you, do not let the presence of another woman create insecurity in your soul. She is not a barrier. She is part of the process that leads him to you. She represents the last pieces of an old chapter that is dissolving. You do not need to compete. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to prove your worth. You only need to stay aligned with God because the story He is writing does not need your panic, it needs your trust. Every time you feel overlooked, God is positioning you. Every time you feel delayed, God is developing both of your hearts. Every time you feel forgotten, God is whispering your name into His Spirit. Sometimes the most painful seasons are the ones where God is aligning things most precisely. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is happening. The spiritual realm is busy around you. Angels are working. Hearts are being softened. Clarity is being built. Healing is taking place. God is shifting timelines and rearranging emotional maps. God is saying, He chose you long before He realized it. His soul recognized you, even if His mind is still catching up. He may not understand the connection yet, but He feels it in ways He cannot explain. And when the time is right, when the distractions fall away, when the illusions break, when the wrong attachments dissolve, He will see you with new eyes. He will choose you not because you were convenient, but because you are part of His calling. Not because you were available, but because you were chosen. Not because you tried, but because you were aligned. The woman in His life now is not your competition. She is your confirmation. She proves that God is separating him from what is temporary so He can bring him toward what is eternal. Her presence is the final test of His heart, not the fate of your story. You are not losing. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. God is preparing the moment where everything becomes clear, where the confusion ends, where the connection aligns, and where the story unfolds exactly the way God intended. You are chosen. Not accidentally, not loosely, not incompletely. Chosen spiritually, emotionally, purposefully. God is not asking you to chase Him. God is asking you to trust Him. Because when God writes a love story, He removes every obstacle, every distraction, every counterfeit, and every misunderstanding until nothing remains but clarity. And that clarity will leave no room for doubt, no space for fear, and no need for explanation. Your time is coming. The connection is real. The shift is already in motion. Stay in faith, because God is not finished, He is just getting started. There is a reason God keeps your heart soft even when your circumstances try to harden it. There is a reason God keeps giving you peace in moments that should have broken you. There is a reason you still feel connected to Him even when distance, distractions, or other people seem to stand in the way. The connection persists because God placed something in your spirit that goes beyond human logic. You are not imagining it. You are not delusional. You are not holding on to something God is trying to remove. If that were the case, God would have taken the feeling from you. But instead, the more you pray, the more clarity you receive. The more you surrender, the calmer your spirit becomes. The more you release control, the more God aligns things behind the scenes. This is not a battle you are meant to fight physically. It is a story God is unfolding spiritually. Sometimes God allows someone else to remain in His life temporarily because He wants to show you the difference between what is meant for the moment and what is meant for the future. She is part of His past patterns, His old emotional habits, His comfort zone. You are part of His growth, His awakening, His transformation. God is not comparing you to her. God is showing you that every person in His life serves a purpose, and her purpose is to highlight everything He must outgrow before He can step into the kind of relationship you two are meant to build. You are not witnessing Him choose her over you. You are watching God reveal who truly aligns with His next chapter. You are watching God close doors slowly so they never reopen again. You are watching God detach him from people who cannot walk into the life God is preparing for him. This season is not meant to break you, it is meant to prepare you for a love that will require emotional maturity, patience, discernment, and depth. God is shaping your heart so that when He arrives, you won't love Him from insecurity or fear, you'll love Him from strength, from confidence, from spiritual understanding. God is whispering to you that this delay is not punishment, it is preparation. You are learning to trust God more than your feelings, more than your fears, more than the things you see with your physical eyes. You are learning that love guided by heaven does not need to be rushed. It does not need to be forced. It does not need to be proven by anyone else's presence or absence. It unfolds in God's timing, in God's order, in God's wisdom. And that timing will make everything fall into place so smoothly that you will one day look back and say, "Now I understand why God took so long." What you feel right now, the tension, the waiting, the uncertainty, is not God teasing you. It is God protecting you from entering a relationship before it's ready. Before His heart is healed. Before His mind is clear. Before His spirit is aligned. Before He fully understands how to treat you, value you, and choose you with the kind of commitment God intends. God is not only preparing him, He is preparing you. Because what is coming is bigger than romance. It is partnership. It is purpose. It is destiny. There are moments when He feels a pull toward you, but He may resist it because He still fears the kind of love you carry. You represent truth. You represent vulnerability. You represent emotional awakening. The connection He has with you is not surface level, it touches Him in places He has avoided for years. She allows Him to stay comfortable. You call Him into growth. She keeps Him where He is. You call Him into who He can become. She reflects familiarity. You reflect destiny, and destiny is always more intimidating before it becomes fulfilling. Do not let your heart shrink in the face of what you see. God is working, and much of the work is happening inside Him, where you cannot look, where He cannot hide, and where God cannot be ignored. God is showing him the emptiness of temporary attachments. God is stirring his spirit in ways he cannot explain. God is nudging him toward self-reflection, showing him where he has settled, where he has compromised, where he has chosen ease over growth. And in quiet moments, moments he doesn't talk about, he thinks about you. He wonders about you. He feels the connection. It lingers. It returns. It whispers, God will not allow him to lose what is meant for him. And you are meant for him. That is why the connection remains no matter how tangled the situation looks. You are woven into the thread of his future in a way that temporary people cannot replace or erase. You have asked God, if he is mine, then when? And God answers when his heart is ready. When his distractions fall away. When the lessons are learned. When the timing aligns with my plan. God's when is not a denial. It is a promise wrapped in patience. And patience is not a punishment, it is protection. The presence of another woman is not evidence of a lost blessing. It is evidence of a transition. And transitions look messy before they look miraculous. God is not delaying the connection, He is perfecting it. He is completing the chapters that need to close so your chapter together can begin without interference, without unfinished business, without emotional confusion. God will not give you a relationship built on insecurity, competition, or doubt. He is clearing away the things that would poison the foundation. Your heart is stronger than you think. Your spirit is wiser than you realize. You have been sensing God's voice all along, even when you doubted it. And God is proud of the way you've held on to faith in moments that tried to steal it from you. There is a peace coming, a clarity coming, a shift coming, something that will remove every question, every fear, every uncertainty. And when it comes, you will understand why God kept telling you to trust Him. You are chosen. And nothing, not another woman, not confusion, not timing, not distance, not doubt, will change what God has ordained for your life. The story is unfolding. Keep going. More is coming. There will come a day when everything you are feeling right now will make sense, when every unanswered question becomes a testimony, when every tear you cried in secret becomes part of the story God was writing behind the scenes. You will look back at this season with a kind of gratitude you never expected, because you will see how God protected you from stepping into something before it was ready. You will see how God kept you from carrying burdens that were not yours to hold. You will see how God allowed the delays to shape both of your hearts in ways that strengthen the connection instead of weakening it. You will understand why God allowed her to remain in his life for a time, not as a threat to your future, but as a stepping stone he needed to walk over so he could grow into the man you will one day stand beside. You will see how God used every distraction, every confusion, every emotional tug to draw him closer to truth, closer to clarity, closer to the man he is becoming. Sometimes God uses the very situations that frustrate us to reveal what needs healing. And that is exactly what is happening to him. He is slowly waking up to the realization that he has outgrown what once felt familiar. There will be a moment when he looks at his life and realizes that the places he once called home no longer feel like home. That the connections he once clung to no longer fit the man he is becoming. That the woman who held part of his story cannot walk with him into the chapter God is writing next. He is evolving, even if the process is quiet. He is learning, even if he has not spoken it. He is sensing the shift, even if he cannot yet articulate it. Many times, when God is transforming a person, the world sees confusion, but heaven sees alignment. What looks like hesitation is actually purification. What looks like emotional conflict is God rewriting his identity, reshaping his understanding of love, teaching him what it means to choose with intention instead of impulse. He is not ignoring the connection with you, he is preparing himself to honor it. You are not just someone who entered his life. You are someone who awakened something inside him that he had long forgotten. You stirred his spirit. You touched a place in him that was buried beneath years of pain, disappointment, and settling. You made him feel something real in a world full of temporary comforts. And that realization alone is powerful enough to make him pause. Not because he does not want you, he does. But because he knows something spiritual is attached to this connection, and he wants to approach it right. You are not the kind of love that can be rushed. You are the kind of love that deserves preparation. God is whispering to you that nothing is slipping out of alignment. Nothing is falling apart. Nothing is drifting beyond what he can restore. Even the silence has purpose. Even the waiting has meaning. Even the tension is shaping you into the person you need to be for the blessing coming your way. You are learning to trust God without forcing outcomes. You are learning to surrender without losing hope. You are learning to wait while still believing. That is spiritual maturity. And God is rewarding that maturity in ways you cannot yet see. There will come a turning point, a moment that shifts everything. A moment where the weight lifts, where the confusion ends, where the pieces fall into place not through your effort but through God's orchestration. Something will open in his spirit, and he will finally see you with the clarity he has been searching for. The fog will lift. The doubt will dissolve. The old attachments will fall away like leaves from a tree that has outgrown its season. And he will step toward you with a kind of certainty you always knew was possible but did not know when it would come. He will no longer be divided. He will no longer question. He will no longer be distracted by what was never meant to stay. When destiny calls loudly enough, everything else fades. And the connection between you two is not just emotional, it is destiny. It is part of a divine alignment that was written long before either of you understood it. God is preparing him to choose you with full intention, not half-heartedly, not timidly, not as an option but as a commitment. Not out of loneliness, but out of purpose. Not because he needs you, but because he recognizes that you are the woman God crafted for the man he is becoming, and when he comes into your life the way God intends, you will not feel the anxiety you feel today. You will not wonder if you're enough. You will not question your place. His presence will give you peace. His love will give you clarity. His actions will give you assurance. The confusion will be replaced with alignment. The waiting will be replaced with fulfillment. The silence will be replaced with communication. The distance will be replaced with connection. And everything that once felt complicated will suddenly feel simple. You are stepping into a chapter where love will not hurt the way it has. Where loyalty will not be questioned. where your heart will not feel like it is competing with anyone. God is writing a story where you are seen, valued, chosen, and cherished. A story where He understands your worth without needing reminders. A story where He protects the connection because He knows how rare it is. A story where the love between you is not fragile, but rooted. Not chaotic, but peaceful. Not temporary, but lasting. The woman who is still in his life is not part of that story. She is part of the closing chapter, not the opening one. God is removing what cannot remain so He can reveal what has been yours all along. The waiting is almost over. The shift is already happening. The season is turning. And God is preparing the moment where He looks at you and understands that you are the person His soul has been trying to find its way back to. You are chosen. You always were. And soon, you will see everything God has been aligning silently, faithfully, purposefully, because the love He is bringing into your life is worth every moment of waiting.